Ladies and gentlemen, brothers and sisters, and music lovers worldwide, welcome to another electrifying edition of Live and Loud with the Lord. Nelson, that is, where the music is real, the stories are raw, and the vibes are always unmatched. I'm your host, the big guy with the big show, once again, and tonight, we've got a special guest who's bringing heart, soul, and a sound that hits you right where it matters most. This artist isn't just making music, he's crafting experiences with a style that blends emotion, authenticity, and pure musical passion. He's quickly making his mark and connecting with listeners on a deeper level, and I love that. And now, he blesses you and I with a powerful new single, a track that speaks to finding your center, your peace, and your way back to what truly, truly matters. So whether you're discovering him for the very first time or you've been rocking with his journey for a while, get ready because this conversation is about to go live and loud. So ladies and gentlemen, turn it up and show some love for the incredibly talented Colin Michael. Yeah! I love it. Welcome, young man. Welcome, man. So my first question always is, where are you from?
Originally would be South Jersey. South Jersey. We were only there for a year, packed up, and we headed down to Louisiana, and we were in Baton Rouge for 2 years, and then we moved up into the northwest corner of Shreveport, Louisiana, where I have been since age 3.
Wow.
Which was 19. I don't care about giving my age away; it doesn't matter. But that was 1980.
Man, 1980, you're just a baby, man. What are you talking about? 1980. Wow, you're just a kid. Man,
I used to think about 1980 was like, it was just not too long ago. But the further we get, it's like, man, that was 46 years ago now.
Yeah, but when you say that to me, you're a baby. You're just a youngster, man. Listen, I'm telling you, man. So what's the best thing about Shreveport, young man?
For me, man, it's really my family's here. That's a big deal. I'm really, really tight and close with my folks, and I just have been. And we live a mile apart. And what's always been a true blessing with how I was raised and how they, just the relationship that I got to have with my mom and dad. And unfortunately, my mom is slipping away with Alzheimer's.
Sorry to hear that.
That's really a rough thing to say, that she's now really kind of got that mental state of about an 8-year-old. Wow. So that's a tough thing. But if I have the opportunity to bolt out of here, it would be, making sure that my parents were okay first.
Love. I got you. So when you speak about your mother and your father, so what's your family? What's your family dynamic? Are you just the only child, or is the brothers and sisters?
I was an only kid, so I didn't have to share a damn thing with my siblings.
Okay. I got you, man. So what was the predominant music being played in your household growing up?
Which was really cool because my dad played guitar, and he was of that a little bit on the folk side with like your John Denver, James Taylor along that line.
Okay,
but he also had his Boston, Foreigner. Has a little bit, late 70s rock vibe, which that's the one that stuck with me. And it's funny seeing when we share playlists of what he's got that's kind of crossed over and newer music today, that I'll see him turn on. I'm like, wait a second. Are you listening to Five Finger Death Punch's Bad Company? He's like 77 years old. Yep.
No, that's awesome. No, that's the way it's supposed to be. So that just lets me know that he's a lover of music.
He is.
Just like you are. And that's a great thing. And I know I've given my children the same thing. because I'm a military kid and I've listened to everything. So I enjoy music. I'm not a genre snob. I love music, man. And so I love when I hear something like that. Most definitely, man. That's beautiful. So shout out to your father, man. Hey, listen, I love it. I love it. So who was Colin Michael before the music? As a teenager, as a youngster, who were you, man?
Before the music, my biggest things when I was growing up, obviously I did play guitar. I took piano as a young
Okay.
kid. And
Yeah.
that was one I really wish that I still knew. But I really think that did help with the ear,
Mm-hmm.
and really picking up and being able on the audible side of things. But past that, it became a little bit neighborhood kid into, we had a great neighborhood growing up with good friends. And, back in the day before, these devices kind of took over,
Right.
it was, we'd roll through the neighborhood looking where the bicycles are at in the driveways or
Of
in the
course.
yards. And, are we playing Nintendo? Is it baseball? Or are we going across the train tracks through our neighborhood for the local pond
Yeah.
and fishing?
Of course. Yes.
Moved into a little bit. We got moved into the high school era, and it was then playing a talent show that
Mm-hmm.
was immediately when that bug just snapped with about, I guess 1,500, 1,800 students staring at you while we were
Wow.
rocking out. I think we did two Eric Clapton songs
Mm.
and Eric Johnson's guitar virtuoso Cliffs of Dover, and that was it. It was a hooked from that point forward.
Well, it's wild that you asked that, and like I always tell my guests, when you answer questions that I haven't even asked yet, and so yeah, that was the next thing. So that's really what got you there. That's what inspired you to play music, man. And then you say to be in front of all of those people at that time. Was there a nervousness for you at that time, or was
Oh,
it
absolutely. I was a rhythm guitar player, and I remember having the first kind of guitar lick, and you're thinking like, oh, this is the moment. This is the moment. Don't f this one up.
right?
But that was practice it a gazillion times and try and keep out of your head, because I think it's really where most of your incidents are going to occur from
Right,
is overthinking, and you trip yourself up.
of course. Nah, man, that's awesome. That's all. I'm very visual, so I just picture that whole scene, man. Being in school and seeing all those people, man, and then it's like you kind of become a star to them, especially if you're good. And of course, I can hear that you're really good. So that was a wonderful thing, man. So your sound feels very emotional and authentic. So, who or what influenced your style the most? Now, I know you said about your dad playing certain music, but who really influenced your style?
Man, I'm still in that late '90s rock. Was there just because of where I was when I kind of came into musically and was coming into the end of high school, into the college era, and into the college time frame, being able to play a little bit more. I even I took a sabbatical off of college, or took a year off trying to figure out what I wanted to do
Right.
for life, and I played music and bartended, and that was just that was a great time, but it was also a good I say good experiment because I get to play with music with different people, and you get to experience different genres and styles, and
Right.
who plays what, how do people play, and are you finding those connections? Whether connections are different politically or how you live life, you're looking for that one in the music side of things, and does that bond fit together?
Mm-hmm.
And did that throughout, and wasn't until about 2003 I formed a band called Reflections Burn, and how we started out and the entire process. We wanted to, in our town, a majority of bands that were cover music were
Mm-hmm.
your Leonard Skinner, Casino Rock, we're playing Margaritaville and
Right.
that kind of stuff. And that you could find it anywhere rampant. I said, well, let's start out. We're going to come out, we'll do some 90s rock, but we're going to stay a little bit edgier on the harder side. We'll throw
Mm-hmm.
in artists like Godsmack or Tool and throw some dynamic into it. But when we find all members that we want, that we all agree that we gel together, and then we started writing. And that was really how we did. We found our groove and our stride, and then when we started writing, that made things a little bit easier at that point. And that was an insanely fun ride. Built our way up into our town. Kind of, as you kind of start tearing up, I would say, and opening up for larger acts, and then the bigger acts start coming through, and you're taking up, you're the first call to open up for those
Right.
guys. And well, it got really to the point of we need to make a decision. Are we going to doing this full time? And I was getting ready to have a daughter, and I really was like, I want to be dad to
Right.
her. And I really, really did. And I want, because it was very, very important to me for the upbringing that I had, that I was 100% present. And so that's what I did. We just kind of shelved it for a period of time. And I did. I shelved it, and I wanted to be dad. And I did, as much as stayed. It was funny. I kind of shelved out of the industry in 2010. We had played a sold out New Year's Eve gig,
Mm-hmm.
and I could just holstered music for a bit, and did dad. But it was funny, as I kind of holstered music, I ended in about, I'd say it was about 2010, so about 2 3 years later, I had built a firearms company as a side hobby, and that landed me full circle right back into the music industry.
Wow.
It was kind of wild. It ended up through one Instagram message that I sent to Zoltan Bathory from Five Finger Death Punch.
Mm-hmm.
They were rolling through our town in a couple weeks, and I followed the guy on social media. I'm like, man, he is the Dos Equis guy.
Right.
You know, he, this guy's he's a rock star. He's
Yeah.
a black belt in judo. He's an airplane pilot. He's a boat captain. I was
Right.
like, he drives a Ferrari. I'm like, man, this guy he's got like just some really cool notches in his belt.
Yeah.
And so I shot just put an Instagram message like, hey, if you guys want to come out, get out of the tour heyday, we'll go shoot full autos, suppressors, and just blow some stuff up for the day. Holler. 5 minutes later, I had a text message. It was like, hell yeah, we do.
That's right.
I was like, well, I did not expect that to work. Um, and and before that date occurred, I happened to be going up to Canada to go hunt. And the day that I land in Saskatchewan, Death Punch was playing that
Oh
night.
wow.
And so I ended up going to catch them. And I'm thinking I'm going to just get a quick meet and greet. And it was the security guys walking across the stage with a flashlight, the band, and me. And I'm
Right.
going, I do not know how I ended up here. And that really it was funny because it's, even though you feel like you can get away from something for a little bit when it's your love and in your heart,
Mm-hmm.
it still stays there. And it's like, it's as right back into music as I was, and even deeper. And that really led to me working with just a boatload of artists and making custom rifles for artists all across the industry. And it was neat because that's kept connections
Right.
and that keeps that fire alive. It keeps that soul and just that burning sensation of drive of, oh my gosh, I do love this how so much, and I do miss this. And finally, this past or last, I'll say last year, I orchestrated a good friend of mine that plays in Taproot,
Mm-hmm.
and he's got another band called Riding with Killers, and he needed a stop, and I orchestrated a show in our town. And as he was making, I think he was going either Houston, New Orleans to record, and as I got orchestrated that, and all kind of planets started lining up, and seeing them go live, I said, it's time.
It's not right.
It is time for me to step back in this arena.
I mean, it's in you, man. Listen, music. I always tell people I have a lot of friends who are amazing writers and the whole nine, and they love me, and they're just like, I don't know, man. It's just, I was like, I don't know how you can say that you will ever stop. You might not be out there on the road touring or whatever, but man, I'll never stop writing. I can't help it. I'm in a band now, Plastic Catastrophe with Lord Nelson, and I'm so thankful for Matt. Even though he's in Texas, we still do our thing, and it's like I never want to let it go. I love it. It's such a part of me, and it's a part of you. Yeah, you put it over there for a little bit, but I want to say this though. I understand because I got into thankfully, my brother Bones, who used to be the front man for Stuck Mojo, we went to school.
Yeah.
We went to school together, graduated together, and he brought me to Stuck Mojo, and so I'm thankful for my time with Stuck Mojo. But before that, yes, I was doing things, but just like you, kindred spirits, man. I had 3 children. You know, I have an older daughter and then twins, and I wanted to be there for them all the time. I wanted to be a part of everything that they were doing. So I was there. My wife and I, hey, listen, I was there. And so when you said that, I was just like, I applaud you on that, man, because that's a great thing because, as a father, we need to be there to nurture our children. It's very, very important. So, I just want to salute you on that one, man. I don't want to go over here or whatever. I just want to make sure I applauded you on that one, man, because it's a lovely thing. So,
that's just a great part being. It's just a great part being a dad.
Yes.
Except to a teenage girl, because that is, goodness gracious, money, 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 money.
You're a wild dude, man. Listen, but that's your princess, man. So listen, that's how I look at it. I
You
look
are
at
correct.
those are my princesses. So I love him and I do anything for him. Indeed, my son also, that's my prince. But yeah, man. So before I move on, so you said you make custom weaponry. What are we talking about?
I do. I don't sit still very well. I really don't. And, the gap of time when I kind of shelved music for a little bit, it's like, I got to fill this because I'm not a big TV watcher. It might be on always in the background, but I really don't sit down and watch a whole lot of it. I can't get in. This is bad. I can't get into TV series because I can't commit that long. It's like I tried during COVID to watch a 5-part series. I made it through 4 of them. So
wow, he couldn't last to watch a last one.
It's like I can't make it. I can't go through this. Outside of coming from, I'll say from coming out of dad, and then that getting into the weaponry oddly turned from a habit of just I loved firearms, and I grew up in the South, and it's just we good country boy, and that turned into, it was really kind of when the AR-15 was coming to fold a little bit further. And so I learned the intricacies of it and learned how to put them together, take them apart, and then really started with kind of on that end and kind of took it a little bit further, started creating our own parts. We started contracting, having our own stuff machined. By about 2013, I had helped another company called Sabre Defense Industries. We created one of the first piston platform systems that went into a military contract for United States Marine Corps Recon, which was really cool to be a part of that. There were 4 prototypes. I still have one of them. By I think 2014, we were in every academy across the country. And and the niche part, though, it's like I came in and I started, like I said, we did a little bit with some of these artists, and that's kind of spread like wildfire. And it's turned out to be, one, I get to do cool things with them when they come through our town or a neighboring town, hop over, take them to a range and go shoot and get out of the hustle and bustle of, if you got to do radio interviews or the kind of standard day, like, let's go blow some stuff up.
Break. Yeah, it's a break. Yeah. Yeah.
And that was really kind of what helped fill my time. And as like I said, I don't sit still very well. I'm a marketer by trade. And I just kind of went full gung ho on the marketing side of that and turned that amp up, and I turned that amp up to about 12, and it really started exploding, and that's been an entire amount of fun. But I started scaling it back down in 2018, 2019. I was really starting to get burnt out with it. Again, I own a financial advisory firm too, so I like to burn the candle at both ends with a blowtorch. Yeah. And so I just had to really kind of, I would say I didn't really shelve that when I do that one really now, just on referral basis, or just actually sent an actor, artist, Tate Fletcher, which you would know, he dies in everything. He's got this big old burly beard. He's in John Wick, The Equalizer, Jumanji.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I mean, if you Google him real quick, you'll say, I have seen him.
Is it the bald head guy with the beard?
Yep.
Oh, I know you're talking about, man. Listen, he is always tired.
And soup. I mean, dude,
I know exactly who you're talking about.
Just as kind-hearted as can be, and we just wrapped up one rim, so it's kind of neat to
that's awesome.
Still do some of those.
And I said, listen, I got chills because the Equalizer, all 3 of them I like, but the first one and the third one are so amazing. But that first one, I can see him, man, when they're in that doggone Home Depot store. It's not Home Depot, whatever they call
Yep.
it.
Yep.
And
Yep.
what's wild is that my sisters live in Boston. And so when I was up there, I was like, that looks familiar to me right there. I was like, that street right there or that restaurant right there. And then John Wick, I liked all the fourth, third one, fourth one. The fourth one was okay, but all the other ones are amazing. I love stuff like that. But anyway, I know exactly who you're talking about. That's awesome. That's awesome, man. Well,
Actually,
look.
it was funny. Last year, or no, year before last, my fiance and I we went over to the town of Atrani in Italy, which is actually the main town that Equalizer 3 was in.
Oh man.
Which now it makes me watch it. I've watched it about 8 times more since then. Be like, hey, that was our room right there from our Airbnb that we did. We ate
That's
right
awesome, man. Yeah, I'm telling you, man, I love that series. I love that movie. That third one was so incredible to me, man. I love that movie, man. But I get off on a tangent, man. I apologize. But no, that's a beautiful thing, man. And Italy is beautiful. Europe is beautiful, man. I've enjoyed that also. So let's talk about your new single. What's the story and message behind this song, young man?
Man, after I was in a pretty toxic relationship for a very long time. We call that. It was a really rough marriage, and it really caused me to dive into the bottle. And when we were, I guess, towards the last couple of years of our marriage, really the last full year of it, I was realizing like I would almost want to drown myself by Friday afternoon just so I could get back to Monday so I could go back to work.
Wow.
So I wouldn't have to deal with it over the weekend. And it's, you finally start realizing like this is not life. I am becoming a prisoner. And and I know, I know my little girl saw it, and the kids are affected by that. And after we made the decision to separate and we divorced, and it was funny because it was completely amicable all the way through, and we both realized that it was needed because we became toxic to each other after about 15 years, and it was funny. I was really done with that relationship probably a year prior, and I went after we kind of do all that. I wanted to go. I visited with a counselor. I want to make sure I'm still staying good in my headspace, because mental health is such an important thing today. And it's like I want to make sure I'm okay. And and it wasn't too shortly after I got a friend request, and this pretty gal that I just the beauty blew me away, and I had to meet, and I did. We went out for drinks that evening or that afternoon, and when when you're looking and you're visiting with a potential partner,
Right.
and I'm thinking, what kind of questions is she going to ask? How is this dinner going to be? And leaving such a powerful evening with questions that are, I would like to learn more about what inspires you. I want to know what drives you. How did you get to do this? And just asking really deep, in-depth questions, and not what's your favorite song, what's your favorite color, not really basic generalities. And it was such an amazing connection from that point forward of really true eye to eye seeing, because she saw, I guess, what drives me. And because I don't sit still well, I'm a pretty much go driver attitude all the time.
Right.
And seeing that just was such an awe-inspiring to see in a person and in a partner. And as we continued to date and grow closer and closer, it was within, by the time I left the first night, I already knew. I was like, this is who the rest of life is with.
Wow.
I without a doubt, without the blink of an eye, just because of that. And last May, I got to propose.
Awesome. Well, congratulations, man. It did.
And it was a pretty cool one. I'll tell you that was a cool one. it takes a little bit of balls to propose in front of 16,400 people, but my good boys in Disturbed,
Yeah.
graced me with that moment at the MGM Grand Arena in Las Vegas.
Wow. That was massive, man.
So that was a baller moment,
Yes,
and I got to.
indeed. That is awesome, man. So you're telling me that was the inspiration?
It was her.
It
I
was
mean,
her.
that's
That's what
where
I'm saying. So she was the
it
inspiration.
was. She did what she brought to me. That peace, the peace in a relationship, the peace in a partnership. Um, that's important to a dude.
Yes. Hey,
I
man.
mean, that's supporting backing that she has brought to me has, I mean, elevated me and really, I wouldn't say put me on a pedestal to elevate me in that fashion, but the where she has just brought my spirit and what she has done, and over the last 2.5 years of as we've been together, as we're getting ready to hit year 3 next month,
Mm-hmm.
and just that inner healing, and as she's seen me kind of turn around and really come to life, and it's really brought me full circle back to life.
Right.
And about 2 years ago, we tried 2.5 years ago we tried what ended up being a 60-day challenge.
Uh-huh.
We were going to try. I was like, you know what? Why don't we try this 60-day challenge? And we talked about quitting alcohol and taking a break,
Mm-hmm.
and we weren't bad. It was like we'd drink wine and hang out together, but to a point, I was talking with Chris Kale from Death Punch and
Mm-hmm.
Rich Beto from Finger 11 and Saint Asonia,
Saying something, yeah.
who had quit. And I was like trying to get advice, like, how did you guys do it? And so I really I didn't want to hop on the AA thing.
Mm-hmm.
And I just wanted somebody to lean on. And we just tried the 60-day challenge. And day 61, we were going to Las Vegas.
Awesome.
And we got to Las Vegas. And I seriously thought it was going to be, man, we gonna tear it down. It's going to be a good time. And I looked at her, I was like, you feel like drinking? She's like, nah. And we did. That was kind of the first out experience.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, hey, you're going to Sin City, and that was the first experience for us. And I was like, man, if we can handle this, how far can we go?
Right.
And so we just stuck with it, and that's been a tremendous positive as well for us.
Man, listen. I just I want to say thank you for that. I'm going to say what you just said about peace and those things like that. I just want to thank you. That's all I'm going to say. I appreciate you. I really do, man. I just great story. I'm glad you said that, man. Indeed, indeed, indeed. So, how was the creative process for this track? Did you have help or did you produce it alone?
Um, the original guitar part, I still have on my phone
Mm-hmm.
that I wrote 3 weeks after meeting this girl. I was living at my parents. I lived with them for about, I guess, roughly about 2.5 months while the divorce process was going.
Got you.
And my dad being a musician as well had a couple acoustics, and so would hang out in his acoustic room and just came up with that guitar riff. And I started reaching out to some artists here locally that I'd known over the years, and
Mm-hmm.
I just kept getting this tug in my heart of all the connections I made over the years. I said, I really think there's something bigger here, and I would like to take it a little bit further out of Shreveport for a higher caliber of artistry.
Got you.
And so I did. I reached out to Chet Roberts from Three Doors Down,
Mm-hmm.
and known those guys for, gosh, 10, 12 years. And I remember at one of their benefit foundation events that he had offered, and it was, of course, for their charity side. It's like if anybody wanted to bid on auction to come record music, and it just kind of stuck in my head. I was like, I
Yeah.
forgot he was a producer. And he was a producer with one of the guys from 38 Special. And so I reached out to him. I said, I think I've got something I'd love to, work with you and see what we can do. And We took it further, went, ended up in Nashville at the beginning of December recording it. And at that point in time, I don't know what it's like to take heroin or inject anything into my veins, but I just did at that moment.
That was the high. That was, listen, oh man. I always say
And
music is my drug, man.
that was as soon as that's come into life and back into a studio, it's like, oh, this magic is here.
Oh, that's love, man. It's like I feel it with you, man. That is awesome, man. No, I love it. I love it. I love that. Yes, indeed. So, honestly, man, what do you want listeners to feel or take away after hearing? And let me just say, to me, it's such a spiritual thing. Without you even really having to say it, it moves you in a way. I think that the sonics of it, the guitar playing, everything is so harmonious and comes together, and it just makes you feel good, and it takes you on a journey. It takes you on a ride of you looking at yourself, and so I was just like, man, because I have a song that I wrote called "Breathe" also, where I was speaking about my wife, going through a sickness and everything like that. But I'm telling you, man, it's a great song, great lyrics. So tell me, what do you want the listeners to get from it?
That piece is out there. It truly is. And finding its way home. And, the entire premise of breathing home is like, when we've had chaos, it could be chaos in life and schedule, from all the things that life throws at us
Mm-hmm.
when, calamities and everything goes wrong. And that moment when you get home and you go, that's the moment that I felt,
Right.
in creating it. It's like I am at a place of total peace for me, and I'm hoping that this actually shares that with others. That peace and hope are actually truly a thing, and that are out there. Sometimes it might require you turning off the TV and shutting the Facebook political division down,
Right.
but it can be there.
Yeah.
It truly can.
Oh man, goodness. And look, listen, once again, I agree with you so much. There's so many times I just get in my vehicle and I won't listen to music at all. I just want to have a conversation, you know? And I just remember Russell Simmons saying that. He said, like, so many times we get in our vehicles and just like you said, watching TV or doing whatever, we have all this stuff bombarding us, images and sounds and then just get quiet. So when you get quiet and you're having that conversation in your head, you're not singing, you're not doing whatever. You just, the voice in your head, he's like, that's when you're having the most intimate conversation with God. And I was just like, man. So I did it. And, listen, it wasn't easy because, I like to get in my vehicle and listen to music or whatever. But now I do it a lot. And I'll just get quiet when I feel I need to have those conversations. And then it just gives me clarity. So, man, what you're saying, man, about peace, and it's just a beautiful thing, man, because I'm telling you. And we as men, ladies out there, let me tell you something what men want. We want peace. We want peace. We don't want drama. We don't want madness. We want peace. When I walk in my house, I exhale, just like you said just a few minutes ago. I'm so glad to be here. But then I don't want a lot of other madness going on. I just want peace, man. So anyway, man, listen, that's great, man. This dude right here, man. This Colin Michael dude right here, man. If you don't know, you know now, ladies and gentlemen. So
It is, and that's just it's done such a beautiful thing, and like even quitting, it's been some powerful things like that we were able to do and have each other's backs,
right.
just the partnership of quitting alcohol, and then what turned further from that as other folks that I know that I never even thought about that started reaching out to me with the exact same things I asked, like, hey dude, how'd you quit?
Mm-hmm.
Can I lean on you? Can I ask you? Yeah, absolutely.
Right. Right.
It's like I'm not going to go around, and shoving, you should quit and you need to stop drinking. Like, but if somebody reaches out to me, absolutely.
Yes, indeed.
It's in our heads. I think that we are all thinking that, oh, I'm not going to have a good time, or life won't be as much fun, or I'll never be able to get to sleep. And then you realize all that crap was in my head.
Yes.
And,
Yes.
then I can. And reestablish my faith
Right.
and finding that connection with God. I wouldn't say I was struggling for it or starving for it. I was really just missing as much of it as I should have had. And it just, that connection that we have that now, and it's, that we get to opportunity to pray together, and there's such a tight connection when we do that. We feel that, and it's like, I know God put her in my life for a reason.
Right.
And that reason right there, I will carry to my grave.
Awesome, man. Part of your journey, man. It's a beautiful thing. It really is. It really is. So, how does this single represent your growth or evolution as an artist?
I think it really helped me because, with the last or so 15 years in my firearms business and those connections were able to be deepened just because of relationships. And, I'm a true person of making a connection and having relationships outside of these things,
Mm-hmm.
because I want real. And, I don't want to, yeah, we just text. And having that connection has really brought that forward, and that brings this that but when you have that partnered with the peace in your life and the fire that gets ignited and burning, and you've got the places and the resources that you've established over the last 15 years that can help you with it
Mm-hmm.
along the way, and that's become an amazing part of this ride. um, that's I see that getting fueled further as as soon as when we were first done laying that track down, and I've got journals with just crap scribbled everywhere, and it's thinking like, oh boy, that notebook right over there on my coffee table just came to life. And so
Right.
actually, as we were texting this morning, we're working on clearing the studio so we can head back up the first part of May and
Mm-hmm.
get back into it, and let's head back up and keep going.
Right. Well, look, man, that's amazing, man. It's amazing. So now I asked you earlier who you were before the music. So who are you beyond the music right now? You kind of touched on it a little bit.
Beyond the music, let's see. Beyond music, let's see. Dad being a big one. I'm super close to my folks, and I've got a great relationship. My dad is one of my best friends. And right after kind of the COVID era, we got to do one of the most amazing things ever together. To like, when COVID time happened, everybody's stuck at home, and we're
Right.
sick of that. Even though my office was considered essential, we were alternating schedules to kind of keep it spread thin. And
Yes.
I got to a point like, I cannot do this. This is going to eat me alive. And my father and I, we were having this before I quit drinking. We were having wine in the office one evening. It was just me and him talking. I was like, I've got to do something absolutely epic,
Mm-hmm.
or I'm going to lose my mind. And he's
Right.
like, he goes, "What are you thinking?" And I just blurted out, I was like, "We're going to go climb Mount Kilimanjaro."
What?
And about 5 months later, we were on a plane,
Wow. Wow.
and we went and we climbed Mount Kilimanjaro together. And that was probably the greatest father son experience I've ever had.
Oh my goodness, man.
I
That
mean, just to be, 20 plus thousand feet in the air on top of the summit with one of my father, one of my best friends in life, sharing that moment. At that point in time, we got tears are flowing down out of
yes.
your face, and that is a true, like, you feel close to God at that.
Yes.
When you're 20,000 plus feet in the air, you really feel close.
Oh man, that
And
that listen, that's awesome. That's
that was really an amazing thing. I got outside of that, I've got a really really big heart to community wise to donate. I've got a big heart for our law enforcement, our veterans.
mm-hmm.
I do like hopping in a lot of projects for donating for our causes. We've got a couple of them close by. The Three Doors Down one that the Better Life Foundation had is still. I'm not sure what they're going to do with it. Unfortunately, as the singer passed, about a month and a half ago, that was
Right.
just a truly a tough thing because Brad was such an amazing human.
Yeah.
I mean, I could text that guy at any time, and it's we're sharing a motivational together or a Bible verse, and it's we're finishing a text with, dude, I love you, brother. Good to talk. Or but when I found their foundation and how closely like tied they were to law enforcement and children, and we hopped in and became a part of it because their foundation was 100% dollar in and 100% dollar out,
Wow.
which was tremendous. And so the partnership, we got to be with it for the last 10 plus years. We donated over 50 grand to that foundation, which was cool to
Oh,
be
incredible.
really cool to be a part of. We've done the same throughout our town, as well as some other military foundations, but we want to make sure of those because I think there's the values that veterans have given our country over the years, and I think sometimes they can get forgotten about.
True. Very true.
And don't want that sacrifice to ever be lost. I'm big supporters of our law enforcement, and just because I think they got a target painted on their back a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, there's we all hear stories. I know there's going to be good people, good cops, and a bad cop.
That's always, yes, indeed.
That's every single thing you do in life. There's always going to be a bad one.
It's just human beings. As I always say, the world's not crazy; it's the people in it. So you're going to have that. That's a Lord Nelson saying, and I mean every single word of that.
So those are pieces I like to be a part of, and trying to be I continuously want to be a servant to others, to be a better person for others, truly, because I think that's one. You don't know what kind of day somebody has had. So any little, extension of grace makes anything better for somebody. But being human and giving back in a fashion that makes a connection and makes it real, I think truly, truly helps. But what it can truly do for us as humans and people, not only does it feel good, but when that stuff comes back to you,
Yes.
it's tenfold, and you don't expect it. I get stuff that I see stuff that comes back to me, and that brings tears to my eyes.
Yes.
And my fiance was telling me, she's like, "Hey, we got." She had a connection from a plumber that I know, a good friend of mine owns a plumbing company, and she's texting me. She said, "This guy he really speaks the world of you."
Mm-hmm.
And, my eyes started watering, and just thinking, I'm like, you don't know what examples you set for others, and that's really something I try to be adamant about. Of our actions are seen,
Yes, sir.
and I would like to make sure that my actions, are seen in a positive light, and that people see that.
It's awesome, man. No, I love it. You spoke so very well about it, man, and thank you for that, man. I thank you for being super open and speaking your truth, man, and your life lessons and all of these things are wonderful, man. And you probably you've touched me more than you probably know, and I thank you for it. Just hearing you and listening to the things that you're saying. So, a lot of that I can apply to my world and my life. So thank you for that, man. I really, really appreciate it. And I want to say something right quick. You say you went to Kilimanjaro, and I'm thinking about Toto in the song, say,
Oh, man,
I'm
love that
everywhere.
song.
Yeah. So that's me. But I remember when I was with a band called Lies, and I flew. We were about to do a little tour in Spain, and I flew into Switzerland. And so they're French, and so flew into Switzerland, the airport, and right after that, they took me to this mountain. They said, we're going to climb this mountain, and I was just like, what do you mean? They said, you got to climb this mountain. So he said, once we get up here, it'll be over Lake Geneva, and you'll be able to see Italy and this and three other countries. From here, you can see the Swiss Alps. So I was just like, okay, am I about to climb a mountain? Man, I was just like, I'm a big guy, man. I was just like, oh, these. So I said, okay, here we go. We get there and we drive up a little bit. Now I'm looking up. And there's, it's the part where it's not in the wintertime, so it's where, it's grass and everything, but it's where they ski. And so I said, I don't know if I'm going to be able to do this, man. And then I see two elderly human beings over to the right, walking up there like it wasn't anything. And I said, man, I can't be punked today. Not today. And so I said, man, I'm going to do it. So here we go. We start walking up. See, they're used to it. You know, the other band members, they're used to it. So we're going up. So I go about a good 100 yards, 150 yards, and then I'm like, oh my goodness. I said, oh my goodness, this is way more than what I thought it was going to be. So it took me a while to get all the way to the top, but I'm saying that because you said something. When I got up there to that top, I wrote a song about it afterwards, you know, on the plane ride back to the States. But when I got to that top, I felt so close to God. The air was so pure. It's like one of the most beautiful things ever. So I thank those guys for saying that. I was just like, I had to. I paid for it later with some cramps and everything, legs locking up and stuff later on that evening, but it was worth it. So I just want to say, man, that was awesome to say your story, man. I just want to piggyback on that, man, because this when you took me there, you made me think about it. So
that is awesome.
Yes, indeed. So what's next for you? Can fans expect more music, live performances, or maybe a full project soon?
Yes, actually, I'm looking forward to. I plan to go live later on this year. I want to have a couple other on my original side out. I might bring back one of our older tracks from my Reflections Burn days. I don't know if I will. Chet and I are tossing the CD up and see if we're going to toss one in and maybe, you know, how they do reimagine or do something drastically different and bring something back to the fold. But touring, I'd like to hit the stage later on this year. Now that once we start having enough solo tracks under our belts.
Got you. Yeah. Nah, man, that's listen. Well, if you're ever, you know, East Coast wise, man, anywhere close, man, I'm gonna come see you and hang out with you, man, because I enjoy it. I don't get out as much like I used to, but nah, man, it's good to hear good music and to hear a good vibe. And you see some of the videos behind me, and just seeing you perform and knowing that Fran. So listen. So when you were talking about awesome, Fran is just one of those great human beings of the world, man. And just thankful and grateful. And he's knowing you, and he's saying like you're that guy. Hey, man, come on, man. This couldn't be any better, man. I'm telling you, I'm having such a great time. I always do, man. But this is amazing. So we're about to end this here, but I want to ask you. My last question for you is, what was the last song you listened to?
The last song I listened to. Hold on, I'll tell you. I'll tell you because it would have been in the gym this morning. Actually, it was a Five Finger Death Punch song called "Matter of Time."
Right. Yeah.
I was finishing this morning on the elliptical after biceps and triceps.
Yeah, I saw something out there with you having your workout regimen, man. I saw that, man. I was like, this dude right here, man.
What's funny was, you know how I told you that, when I ended up meeting Death Punch in Canada, and I think it was 2012 or 2013. That's also where I met Fran.
Really?
He was out with them.
Right.
Yep.
Yes, indeed. Oh, man, awesome. Listen, the connections. Music is universal, and it brings so many people together. And I've met so many people around this world that I continue to have conversations with, and it's just a beautiful thing, and I'm thankful and grateful for it always. So, young man, the floor is yours. Please let my watchers and listeners know how they can support you, and feel free to speak about whatever you'd like, man. Talk that talk, man. Do you?
The time was actually phenomenal. I love having shop conversation, but the cool thing is having shop conversation with really amazing people and amazing artists. I'm glad Fran made that connection.
Thank you,
it is. That's a great thing because, when we get the opportunity to hang out in person, there's already going to be a cool connection already there.
Right.
I love that kind of stuff because I think that's how, our hearts get aligned, and because we feel that musical connection. Absolutely, man. I would love, if anybody wants to grab a follow or anything like that, you can find me at Colin Michael Music on pretty much every channel. That's kind of where we deemed everything from. But we're looking forward to this video release that Fran did. We're getting ready to drop that on Wednesday. I think it's one of the things that gives me anxiety, just because it's one of those. What if we hit the button wrong and it doesn't go? um,
Small thing
but
to a giant.
just because a lot of the heart, the soul, and the beauty of the timing right now that I'm truly appreciative of, that God's opening a lot of doors for me, that I'm truly humbled by. And the one thing I really want to stay adamant and focus on is to make sure that I am entering the doors that God wants me to. Because I want him to place me in a position. And it's funny, as I'm writing and working with Chet, one of the neat things we got to talk about is we talked a little bit of faith, and when they're of course they lost Brad, and I told him, I said, and if I'm kind of entering back in this world of music, I said, what I have specifically prayed, and I truly believe that when it's time to pray and ask God for things, let's get specific about it. And I told God, I said, if I have this opportunity of being in music, allow me to be like Brad and use the platform and give the platform to your glory, because you brought me to the table, and I would like to share your glory with everybody else.
Awesome, man.
And I think that would just be an amazing thing for me. That would warm my heart to no end to have that opportunity, but to be able to share faith and hopefully inspire others and give them that direction of hope and true purpose, and that it's there and that it can be present and you actually can find it, and really knowing that this is a beautiful life that we have and that we are given. And you only get one time through it. Make it count. Use the talents that God has given you, and you can truly do amazing things. And I think us as humans, we're a little bit on the reserved side or on the scared side, and me included. I mean, it's not like I'm some Superman. That I think we're afraid of taking first steps. And that I think now a little bit more the term that you hear is shoot your shot, that kind of thing. And I get to say the opportunity, like I do like doing that. I like taking the first steps, and while they're scary as hell, sometimes. I mean, I was terrified when we were driving up to Kilimanjaro, going, what was I thinking? That's amazing. I think the same thing. I'm terrified when I was flying to Nashville. What was I thinking? Right. But the beauty that comes out of that is amazing, because so much clarity and true passion can come out when you are getting out of that comfort zone, and it really does. And one of my things I taught concealed carry handgun classes for years. And then one of the biggest things I told people is that I need you to get comfortable getting uncomfortable. And when you realize that you can be comfortable in doing some uncomfortable things, that really can make that first step shine so great.
Right. Indeed, man. Well said, man. Well, young man, this has been a definite pleasure for me. Thank you for taking the time, man, to do this, and it's an amazing song, and I know the video is going to be amazing. And ladies and gentlemen, you're going to enjoy this, man. So once again, thank you so much for being here. I really appreciate you, man.
Man, I appreciate it. This has been just a fantastically awesome conversation, man. I loved it. Man, it was just a pleasure too to get to. We got out of the email. Now we got the face to face.
Yes, indeed, man. And listen, we're gonna hang out, man. We're gonna do that, man. It's gonna be a good thing. And so, just like that, you have become a part of another incredible moment here on Live and Loud with the Lord. Nelson, that is, yeah. And I want to give a huge thank you to my special guest, Colin Michael, for pulling up, sharing his story, his passion. This is what it's all about. Real music, real people, and a real connection. And to everyone tuned in, locked in, and vibing with us, We see you, we appreciate you, and we thank you for riding with the movement. Thank you for taking the time to spend some time, and until next time, do your best to lead with love and follow with faith. I am the Lord once again, Nelson that is, and he is my special guest, Colin Michael, yeah! I appreciate it, bro.
Turn it up. You're listening to Live and Loud with the Lord, Nelson that is.
Hello, everybody. It's Doro Pesh, and you're listening, and you see the Lord Nelson, and I love him. He's awesome. So keep on watching, keep on listening, and lots of love and metal, and have a great time.